Hey, hello everybody. This video is for showing you how to use copper foil. Here's a roll of copper foil. What it is it is metal. It's real thin and it has an adhesive back so it sticks when you peel this off. And what you do with it is you wrap your glass in it. It's the only way to really combine pieces of glass together into your puzzle, which is you're going to use for obviously for your stained glass. There are three different kinds that I have, in terms of what color the sticky part is, that we call silverback, blackback, and then there's just regular. So I need to show you each kind because using the wrong kind really does kind of destroy your project. So you could do an amazing job, on cutting this, making sure the texture side is up, there's like no gaps. Then all of a sudden you use the wrong kind of copper foil, and then it just, you're always going to see it, and it's going to be very frustrating. So I'm going to show you that, and so you can understand what the differences are. Now I'm going to bring this up so you can see a little better. Now it says on the inside here, I use completely clear glass because that's where you can tell it the most. So looking on the inside, you see that I did solder this together right here, so you can see that this is what it's going to look like in the end when you're all done with it. But on the inside, because it's so clear, you can see the color of the copper, where the sticky side is at. So this is what it's going to look like if you use regular. And this is not something that you want. You don't want to use regular when you have really transparent glass. Here's another kind. This one's called blackback. I had to look at it for a second. But the inside of it is black. So when you have something super transparent like this, you see black instead of that copper. And I like this. I like blackback. And you can see all the way on the inside, that's what it looks like. The other one is silverback. And on the inside of it, it's silver. And I like this one a lot too. So it's kind of up to you and which one you want to use. But if you have glass that's really transparent, you want to work with either the blackback or the silverback. We have a lot more of this because it's cheaper, because there's not that additional coloring that needs to go with it, and we use it a lot because of our glass. So this one is kind of transparent, but it's not transparent to the point where I would notice the difference between any of these. So on this one, even though this is cathedral, I would still use the regular copper foil. And same thing with this one. This one's completely opaque, and you just kind of stay with the cheaper stuff. Now I have another piece of glass here. This is actually yellowish. This one would really tell the difference with that. So anything clear, anything that's like this, that's really, really clear, or has no color in it, you definitely want to add that. What I tell students sometimes, they ask me, well, which one should I use? I usually have them, rip off a small piece of the copper foiling, put it on one side and just see what it looks like and then make that choice for yourself. The regular stuff is in a container like this. Otherwise, I keep the special stuff in a bag. This one's black and this one is silver. And sometimes we don't always put it away. And you say, well, how do I know the difference? You don't until you kind of pull that adhesive off. So I'm going to grab a little section right here. And I'm going to peel back. You can see that it's silver. So we know you have the right stuff. If this was black, then you'd have blackback, and you need to take it out of that and put in the black one, please. Okay? So I'm going to sit down, move this off to the side. I'm going to show you how to put the copper foiling on. So this is regular. Now I need to gauge how much I need. So I'm going to wrap this around kind of loosely. So I know I need about this much. I'm going to rip it just with my fingers. I'm going to start peeling the copper off, or the back off the copper. It's nice if you have kind of fingernails. Okay. Next, you drop it, and you pick it back up again. After that, you usually want to stay, like you want to start kind of in the middle, not like on a corner. And you want to put the copper on. Now, I'm going to try to angle this so you can see. You want a little bit of copper on this side, and you want a little bit of copper on this side. Once I have that, I start lining up my next one. Kind of press it along the bottom there, or rotate it. Bring this up and around. If you mess up, just kind of pull it back again. You don't want to do it a bunch of times because each time you do it, you kind of lose a little bit of that adhesive quality. Take the rest of that off. So half on the left, half on the right. Now I'm about to overlap, and I like to try to break it off if I can, so I don't overlap it too much. Because you want it to line up perfectly, otherwise you get this little, and I'll kind of ruin this one a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see the way that one of them is really on this side and the other is on this side. You want them to line up because that does get kind of distracting when you work on it. But I'll just leave it. It's just an example. After this, you take your fingers and you push both on the top and the bottom, and you push all that in. It goes around the sides. Next, you can take like a pen or a Sharpie marker, and this is a really important step because you want to be able to go in and press hard along that inside here. And I'm going to set this down. And I want to press hard here. So the top of it, the side of it, and yes, the back of it. This makes sure it sticks. I had a student one time not do this, and their like whole project kind of fell apart. Because it just doesn't stick. I mean, it's really sticky, but when you press down with this, it really stays. So I went around the edges, I went along the back, and I went along the front. Let me do this one real quick. Again, don't start in a corner, but start on the side. Just like that, line it up. A little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. This is one of those things that you could rip a section of this off and take it home with you and do it at home. Okay? As you're like watching your Netflix videos or whatever. Now, usually because you have glass cutting fluid on here and other stuff and Sharpie marker, I do have you wash and dry your pieces first, because then your adhesive stuff really sticks well. Okay, pinch the sides, pinch the corners here. Use my pen, Sharpie pen, this pen, a pencil, it doesn't really matter. Just something you can press against there. And flatten this down nice and tight on both sides. There you go. So again, big difference is just decide, if which of these you're going to be using. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and good luck on this part of the project. Thanks.